Before starting episode 3, let's briefly return to episode 2. First of all, the sin about Akru and Sura not being in the cave is invalid. In this shot, I mistook Akru for Lari's body and Sura for a rock. But there are several mistakes I didn't add to the counter. First, the continuity error with the bushes during the scene where they discuss the maturity trial. Second, the roots above Shere Khan's den also weren't counted. Mowgli keeps scraping the bark, yet the amount of bark never decreases. The rock behind him suddenly changes shape, and a moment later, it bends under Bagheera's paws like it's made of rubber.
That's pretty hard to believe.
I believe it.
It looks good to me.
So you're telling me Mowgli managed to finish his work during this 3-second flashback? The coconuts have changed, and between shots they keep switching, sometimes fully green, sometimes slightly orange. Behind Mowgli there used to be a bush and a tree, but now suddenly there's a dense forest. The piece of bark was completely light-colored, and one cut later, the tip becomes dark. The other pieces also change color and size. Oh, the bush is back. Mowgli teleports between shots.
It's not that. I don't understand why Lala dislikes me so much.
And only now you're asking this question? The tree behind them suddenly turns greener. Bagheera's nose gets lighter. Alexander's wounded paw keeps appearing and disappearing throughout the entire battle scene. The council rock changes shape between shots. Question: why wasn't the slope of the cliff visible this whole time? The water splash deflection effect was missing earlier and suddenly appears now just for drama. Bagheera's head is brighter than the rest of her body. As much as I praise Lala's arc, within the everything is wrong format, I can't ignore this. Why, in all this time, has Mowgli never even tried talking to Lala about any of this? Why is this part of the frame suddenly blurred for no reason? Sura starts panting a few seconds after they stop running, while Akru doesn't care at all that there was just a chase scene. The rock behind them disappears, and then turns into a wall. Lighting before versus lighting after. The background changes. And again. There was a forest behind them, now it's the council rock, but not for long. Lari slightly shifts position while speaking. Lighting before versus lighting after. And again. And again. The color of the flower behind her changes. Background switch. And again. And again. Alexander and Bagheera shift closer to the branch. The rock changes shape. And again. So you're telling me that during the forest fire flashback, Mowgli is already almost the same height he is now, while Akru and Sura are still puppies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the fire appeared out of nowhere. And now we're back to the flashback of Alexander versus Shere Khan again. I'm not going to repeat all the sims I covered in episode 2. I'll just silently add them since it's literally the same footage. The tree Mowgli is lying on before the flashback changes into a different one afterwards. A branch appears in front of Mowgli and disappears a moment later. Lighting before versus lighting after. The bark pieces change again, and so do the rocks behind Lala and Bagheera. And again.